Welcome back to Calculus 1. This is problem number 7 from homework set number 6. It's a rather long problem, okay? But our solutions here are, the first one is easy. The distance is going to be 3 units. The second one, the distance is much more difficult to get, is 3.08 units. So let's go ahead and look how we get that.
So this problem and the next problem, they're not too bad. Okay. What we're looking at is we've got a circle. So let me go ahead and draw that circle. So it has a center of 2, 3. So there's the center of the circle. It has a radius of 3, which means that it looks something like this. My circles really never look like circles. They look more like ellipses when I draw them, but close enough. That one's not actually that bad. So we have the point 8, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Up 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We want to know how far away it is from the circle. Okay. Well, this problem's pretty easy because we're already in the same line, right? And so I know that from the center out to here, I was at 2. Now I go 3 more out, so I must be at a length of 5, and clearly that's as close as you can get to this point. And so this point over here is another 1, 2, 3 away at 8, right? So our total length over is 3. If it was at 8 over 4 up, well, that's a different story. Okay, so at 8, 3, the distance equals 3. Now what about 8, 4? Okay, so that's a more interesting question. So 2, 3 is the center here. 8 over 4 up. Well, what I need to do is I need to find the line containing these 2 points, right? Okay. And if I find the line containing those 2 points, okay, what I want is, when does that line intersect this circle? Okay, so if you think about, I've got the edge of my circle, and I've got some point out here. Now the closest this point can be to this circle is if I drop a straight line as best as I can down to that circle, right? Now where does a straight line hit? Well, it's got to minimize it, so geometrically, if you think about it, it must be perpendicular to the tangent line. But the thing is that all radiuses are also perpendicular to the tangent line, so they must lie on the same line. Okay, that's what's going on. So let's find the equation for this line right here. Well, this point is at 8, 4. This point was at 2, 3. I'll show you another way to do this as well. A little bit more smoother with a distance formula in the equation, but it involves minimizing an equation or a function. So let's find this line. Well, the slope is change in y over change in x, and the change in the y values is 4 minus 3. So 4 minus 3, change in the x, is 8 minus 2. So this is 1 over 6. So the height changes by 1 unit, the length changes by 6. So this guy is 6, this guy is 1. Its y-intercept, y is equal to mx plus b. So y is equal to 1/6 x plus the b value, which we don't know. That's what we're going to find. So we're going to take either the point 2, 3 or 8, 4. Doesn't matter which one you pick. I'm going to use, I'll use 8, 4. Okay, so 4 goes on this side. 1/6 times 8 plus b. So 4 is equal to 8/6 plus b. If you multiply everything by 6, you get 24 is equal to 8 plus 6b. Move the 8 over, that gives me 16 is equal to 6b. So b is equal to 16/6. If I divide both these by 2, I get 8/3. Okay, so apparently this guy hits somewhere over here at 8/3. So the overall equation for the blue line is y is equal to 1/6 x plus 8/3. It's not a nice looking equation, but it's an equation. Okay, so it's actually not that bad. Now what we need to do is we need to figure out where this equation, okay, where this line touches this circle. Now it's going to do it in 2 spots. It's going to do it here, but it's also going to do it, if I extend this line, it's also going to do it somewhere over here. Okay, so I'm going to get 2 values out. Now we'll check, maybe the algebra is too hard for us to do and we're going to have to use graphing software or a computer system, who knows. Okay, so let's go ahead and work this guy out. So what is the equation of the circle? Well, the equation of the circle is x minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared, and the radius of the circle was 3, so that's equal to 3 squared, which is 9. So what I want is I want these two guys to be equal to one another. So what I'm going to do, the trick here, is to take this y, I need to solve for one of the variables, so this y has got to be the same as this y, where they intersect. Okay, so it's these guys. So I'm going to take this thing right here and I'm going to plug it in right here, because they're the same. So this will be x minus 2 squared plus 1/6 x plus 8/3, oops, not x, just 8/3, plus 8/3, minus 3 squared is equal to 9. Now I got to try to solve this guy. Not too bad, we just got to go ahead and do a little bit of a simplification here. So this right here is x squared, let's see here, minus 4x plus 4. And this right here, before I square it out, I'm going to go like this. So 1/6 x, okay, so I've got 8/3 minus 9/3, right? Okay, so this is minus 1/3 squared is equal to 9. Now I've got to go ahead and FOIL this guy out. And that's going to be a mess. But one thing that I can do is I can go like this. X squared minus 4x plus 4 plus. Now I could multiply everything here by 6. And if I do that, I get 6 times x. Or if I multiply, if I factor out, actually I got to factor out, I shouldn't say it like that. You know, it might be easier just to go ahead and FOIL this. I don't want to confuse you and apparently myself more than what we need. Actually, hang on. Yeah, I can't factor out I can't factor out 6. I need to factor out 1/6, but it doesn't matter. So this is going to be I'm going to get rid of this right here because we're going to get a number in here. So 6 times a 6 is 1/36 x squared. Then I've got a 6th times a 3rd, which is 1/18 x, but I've got 2 of those, right? So, and that's of course going to be negative. Okay, so this is going to be negative 1/9x, so minus 1/9 x plus, so a third times a third is a ninth. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to multiply everything by 36. So this is going to be 36x squared minus. Now the numbers here are going to get a little bit big, but it's still, I think, better than trying to deal with fractions. So this is 144x plus 144 plus x squared minus 4x plus 4 is equal to 9 times 36, which is 324. Okay, so let's combine some stuff. We have x and 36x, so it's 37x squared. I have negative 144 minus 4x, which is negative 148x. Okay, so what have I used so far? I've used this guy and this guy, this guy and this guy. So what's still left? 144 plus 4 is positive 148. Now I'm going to subtract this guy from both sides. Okay, so 148 minus 324 gives me negative 176. So this is 37x squared minus 148x minus 176 equals 0. Now we can try to factor that, okay, which could be ugly, and it probably doesn't work out well. I haven't done it yet, so I don't know, but probably what's easiest here is to use the quadratic equation. So what we're going to do, we'll do that guy out. So remember, this is all to figure out these 2 points right here. Once we find those points, we still have to find the distance. Okay, so excuse me, so this is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus, now I'm not going to make it negative because once you square it doesn't matter, minus 4 times a times c, gotta put the negative in there, all over 2 times a. So that's going to be, there's nothing really hard about this, right? It's just tedious, and hopefully we haven't made a mistake yet. Okay, so this is 21904 minus, actually, so it's going to be minus and negative, so it's going to be plus, right? So 4 times 37 times 176 gives me 26048 over 2 times 37, which is 74. So that's 148 plus or minus the square root, so 21904 plus 26048 gives me 47952 over 74. So the square root of that number is 218. Now watch. If you go back up here and you look, we want the guy right here whose x value is positive. Well, if I do the negative here, this will give me it'll give me a negative value up top. So I want the positive version of it. So what I want is 148 plus the square root of 47952 over 74. Because the negative one, that gives me this guy over here, and we don't want that guy. Because that's the one that's the furthest away, right? Not the closest. So, let's see here. I don't think this is going to come out real nice. 47952. I mean, we can look at dividing it by a bunch of numbers to get an exact value. So this would be 148 plus 6 times the square root of 1332. If I divide by 36. So let's see if that guy is divisible by anything else. That's nice. Well, it's divisible by 4 again. So I can get another 2 out. So 148 plus 12 times the square root of 333 over 74. And 333 is divisible by 3 and 111, and 111 is not a perfect square. So that's as far as this guy's going to go. So we can divide everything by 2 here. Actually, let's see here. We can't divide everything by 4. So I think we're pretty much stuck. I don't think I see anything else that's nice there. So 148 divided by 2 is 74. So plus 6 square roots of 333 all over 74 divided by 2, which is 37. Now if I divide this by 37, I can't divide this by 37, so we're stuck. So this is the x value. Okay, now let's get a decimal approximation for it so that we can play around with it a little bit more. So 6 times the square root. Okay, so that gives me 4.96 approximately. So let's go back up and look. Does it look like this x value could possibly be at 4.96? That's the question. So we're over 2, and then we go 1, 2. If we went over 3 to all the way to 5, we would be out here. But remember, we're back the circle just a little bit. And so that does make sense, that would be the value. Okay. So that's the x value. Then what do we do with that guy? Well, we would take that guy and we go ahead and we plug it in to figure out the y value. So if the x value is 4.96, we got to plug it back into here, right, to figure out the y value. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this and do that calculation. Well, I guess I could do it here for you. So this video is getting kind of long. In fact, what are we at right now? 16 minutes. Okay. So we got to plug that 4.96 in here. So 4.96 minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared is equal to 9. So 4.96 minus 2 squared is 8.7616. Now remember, this isn't perfect because what I could have done is taken this guy and squared it. But I mean, we're really talking about some ugliness there. So we're just going to leave it. Don't go ahead and evaluate this guy out because watch. We're going to take 9 minus that number. So we're going to get y minus 3 squared is equal to 0.2384 approximately. Square root of that guy. So that's 0.488 roughly. Add 3 to both sides. So that's 3.488. Again, that's just a rough estimate. It's 3.488. Okay. Now we just have to find the distance between this guy and this guy. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. The distance is equal to the square root of 8 minus 4.96 squared plus 4 minus 3.488 squared. Okay, so that's going to give me 9.2416 plus 0.262144 that'll give me 9.503744. Square root of that guy is 3.08. Now, here's the thing. 3.08, it should be just a little bit longer than what we got before, which was 3. So again, that's just some validation that our answer is correct. And that's how you go ahead and you set up that problem and work it out.